hello my soul family. Welcome to today's opening gala for our presentation, The Resurrection Part 3 for 2022. My name is Christy Ramirez and I am a motivational speaker, soul coach, and spiritual influencer. So I am here today in my gala dress again. This is the Resurrection red dress of the year, a fashion spectacular and success. And that is what this Resurrection Part 3 is bringing. This Part 3 is the revelations. And this is what I am going to reveal to you in this special event. You can always purchase this event at christyramirez.com/Lightworker University. This is the presentation, all in just 1 hour. I give it to you straight, the truth. I also reveal to you by God Himself, what is it that you need to do during these times that are very potent and important for your future, what you need to do to make that shift, change in direction, or carve your new soul path. We've been given a path to pave, but we also have options, and God will never force us to take a certain action or go a certain way without our permission. The number one gift that God bestowed upon all of us is that of free will. And with this free will, we are free to do as we please. But we always have the option of whether we want to stay in the light or function out of alignment, which means that you're in the darkness. You're in the void, you're lost. You're lost in the woods, like the poem of Dante's Divine Comedy in Inferno starts. It starts lost dark in the woods, cold, shadowy, complete void. It's just complete emptiness, complete darkness. But I also want to remind you that there can be no light without dark. The light only was born through the darkness. When God created the earth, as is stated in the book of Genesis from the Bible, He created light from the darkness, because originally the world, the universe, was all darkness. And He, the all-creative supreme being, thought about creating the light. And that is how the light came about. In this presentation, Revelations, I use the Bible as our main source for reference. And there's a lot of passages from the Bible that I highlighted before I started the presentation. And then we went deeper into it because we even decoded some things about, what we need to prepare for and how it applies to our life and how history also replays itself, but in different ways. And we are at a crucial moment right now before an important event coming up, which is the second coming of Christ. And we all know that this is how the book of the Bible ends, in the book of Revelations. It is the prophecy that seals that book, that He will come again and triumph over darkness, triumph over the Antichrist, which was prophesied to come before the second coming of Christ. So it's almost like we already expected it, and is what we are experiencing. All the chaos since 2020, which is what this resurrection presentation touches on, is what this has been. It's been Antichrist. It's been against God's will. But God is fixing it in the spiritual realms. Our angels are working overtime. There is a spiritual war happening, a spiritual battle, energetically in the ether realms. And we are just to sit back and watch this show play out according to God's divine will. But we also have to put our part. If God is giving you a role to play, if He's giving you a specific task, a mission, because we are all in this army of God. And where we're heading towards this new world, this new earth, is to await the second coming of God through Christ, which was His vessel, which He came here on earth. And this is a wonderful, wonderful event and wonderful time to stay in faith, Because no matter what darkness or struggle you are all experiencing individually or feeling collectively, it too shall pass. And this is a reminder that we are to stay strong and resilient during any turmoil, during any torment, towards any tower moment, or literally tornado that is in your life, because that is not of God. And I want to also remind you, there's a powerful quote that I came across lately, which nothing is never coincidence. This message came to me through another person, and I think it's a wonderful way for us to keep in mind throughout these times. And that is to trust no one but yourself, but your inner higher being, but only God, but only your angels, your inner divine guidance, your sacred self. Because remember, the devil was once an angel. And even in the book of Inferno, we do read about this. And if you know a little history on Lucifer, which this whole story is in the Bible, he was an angel first. And he became a fallen angel when he wanted to compete against Archangel Michael. And we all know that Archangel Michael, which is the supreme angel, the commander-in-chief in the angelic realms and hierarchy, he triumphed over Lucifer, right? Before he was called the devil, right? Which in the reverse spells out lived, because he once lived as a light being. He once lived and then he fell. If any of you have fallen off your soul path, that's when karma comes back around. That's when you no longer are in God's blessing, because you fall off what you're meant to do and stay in the light. Our only task on this planet is to stay in the light while doing the work, the mission work, which is not just any work. And so that's the story of Lucifer. He got jealous and envious of Archangel Michael's position, and he wanted to be greater than God, should I say, than God himself. He wanted to be the all-powerful. Almost like in the story of Aladdin, right? Jafar, who wanted to be the most powerful sorcerer more than the genie himself. And little did he know, he sabotaged himself because he condemned himself for prison for life. He didn't know the price that it came with, right? And that's almost what any promise that the devil promises you with, any deal that you make with the devil, is but a dead end. It's not going to take you anywhere. And the devil's promises are written all over this material realm, all over society, all over what mainstream media promises you. What we see that is corruption, what we see that is not real, but a false illusion. If any of you are living a false life, that's going to come down, because there is a dead end to that. There's nothing in the afterlife that you're going to be able to take with you that you've worked on while trying to achieve some false illusion. And so that's the repercussions of making a deal with the devil, which a lot of people will do when they don't see either a way out in their life, when they're falling off track, when they've lost faith, when they lose patience with their journey as well. They succumb to the dark, when they're just simply weak and they're vulnerable to giving in to temptations, into seductions, into dark entities, into negative energies. And that can come in any form. That's the other interesting part, is that everybody's situation and weakness and dark side is so different. Everybody has a unique subconscious and deep dark desires. But it's up to us to not fall victims to those desires, but triumph over those desires that don't serve you. Because we all have good desires as well, like wanting to have true love, wanting to live a good life, wanting to be of service to God. Those are all beautiful dreams. Wanting to live a legacy leave a legacy on earth for the light, for yourself, for God. But then when it gets out of hand and it touches on any of the 7 sins, which are deadly and which are the cause of why people fall into inferno, which are the circles of hell, the 9 circles of hell like Dante described in his Divine Comedy poem, and what then people, if any of them repent, have to work their way up in Mount Purgatorio to make up for those sins through their depths, which is their karma. And it's an eternal journey of torment, of living the same karma over and over, and nobody wants to be on that boat. And there is a ship coming for us during these times. That's part of the revelation, a little extra revelation for all of us today, is that there is a ship coming for us. I actually saw a vision this other day, and this boat or ship is very small relatively. It's like a small private ship that is coming only for a select few, which are the select chosen ones that maybe have been left behind because for whatever reason, maybe they were locked out. Because the thing is also, we need to remember that on the spiritual journey, there are different levels and timelines as to when people wake up, when people start their mission, when people start developing their spiritual gifts. And all of this takes time. It's not an overnight project, basically. It's a project and a transformation of ascension that takes months, years to master. And I'm not saying it takes a lifetime, because of course to get to the ultimate master level, it does take a lifetime. But to start making a difference, it only takes a couple years where you can start your work, right? I'm a perfect example. I started my business with soul coaching and all that I'm doing and teaching with Lightwork just 3 years ago. And I look myself back at the beginning and I've come such a long way. It's almost like a 10 years worth of growth there, because I'm a fast learner. And when I put myself to something, I am 24/7 obsessed with getting better, but only for good reasons, right? To want to be better and be a better worker for God. And so again, it's how we use all of this energy that's coming in with us for this renewal, this resurrection, this rising of the phoenix, and how we put it to work for the mission. Not use it selflessly, not use it destructively or corruptively for selfish reasons, but it's using it for the collective. It's using it to be philanthropic. It's to use it to help the people. And this is how we can make a difference. This is how we can ensure our spot on this planet and be alive for a long time. Because I want to tell you all that the people who are going to be experiencing a long life, longevity, are not only those that take care of their health, but are those that are here for a specific purpose and are consciously doing something to continue to show up for that purpose. Because we all know that, life can be short or life can be long out of nowhere. Life is spontaneous and only God has control over that. So make sure that you're doing your part in whatever way that means, and show God that you're worthy of being alive in this luxurious planet. You're worthy enough to live an earthly paraiso. Before you enter heavenly paradise, you are worthy of also living an earthly paradiso, like Dante also described in his Divine Comedy, because that's very possible. But only a select few are here on the top. And I want to invite you all to come, continue to rise. And even those that are here doing the work, sitting on the throne, we still work a lot. We still work overtime. It's not like we have it easy at all. Because if anything, we find ourselves alone. And the perfect metaphor, if you don't know what this feels like, this loneliness that it can feel like when there's not a lot of people up here who either understand what you talk about, understand what you do, understand how you use your time, and why you dedicate so much time to doing this. But it's like the life of a priest. It's like the life of a holy person, right? A lot of them are shut out from the society, because if they were among society all the time, they would get enmeshed with that. And that's a perfect example, why back in the day, and even now in modern day somewhat, the empress, the emperor, the queen, the king were always living in their castle. They would never step out into the society, into the kingdom, unless special occasions, because it was a completely different world, different lifestyle, different mannerisms, different way of living. And they would get eaten up by the people if they would just be out there unprotected, right? And you know, if I want to recommend to you during these times, you know, if any of you seen the series The Empress, which is a new series on the Netflix, it's a perfect example. She tried with her bleeding heart, because she has such a soft, open heart, which is a good thing, but using it wisely and smart with good support by your side, because you don't want to get eaten up by those who don't know any better. The ignorance, and it's not about necessarily even it being ignorant per se, it's just that a lot of people don't have the means, and there's a lot of different classes out there, and it doesn't even have to do with money or even class per se, but it can also be about education or even just spiritual knowledge. And whatever the case may be, not everybody can afford therapy, right? And everybody has traumas, and everybody copes with those traumas in different ways. Some people project that off onto others unless they've been helped by a therapist, which is why I studied therapy and counseling, because I wanted to be able to fix human behavior from those traumas. But I know it's not possible. It can only come from the person itself wanting to change. And there is power in counseling, you know, which is why I love to counsel, and where I studied 10 plus years in counseling, because I found myself victim a lot of the times of being projected with these traumas from other people. And then I was victimized. I was the one being traumatized with their traumas. And that's not a good feeling to bring into the world. And so from experience, I'm not talking to you, you know, I don't come from a background of sunshine and rainbows. I've had my own hardships. I've had my own traumas to overcome and to see from a new lens, from the eyes of love, from compassionate heart, from a counselor standpoint. And the world is needing more of this healing vibration, healing energy. And the more that us light workers can step into our power, sit on our throne, and start to do the work and speak to these people and be compassionate and be able to be courageous enough to, yes, show up to the people, but not be taken advantage of, right? And not enmeshing yourself lower to fit in. We never take our crown and lower our vibration, right? We always keep our crown on. As light workers, as divine royalty of God, keep your crown on during these times. It's a very testing time right now. And so that's what this revelation presentation is about. It's very deep and it's very powerful. And I hope that it really struck your heart, inspires you to take action in your own life. Watch this presentation at christophermers.com/lightworkeruniversity. Don't get left behind. Come here with us, rise into this new earth, because this is coming up and this gate is going to close up soon. This is the gates to heaven, living a heavenly life, a heaven on earth. So thank you all for joining me in today's opening gala event. I always like to make it special for all of you, bringing the theme, and there are fireworks right now. How amazing is this evening, this beautiful night? Fireworks to celebrate this energy, this beautiful Saturday night. And I think that's also the message for us before we close out. It is the celebration of God's resurrection, of God's ascension, and his coming in spirit, right? Because we don't need to expect him coming in flesh necessarily. That's where we keep an open mind. He could be all around you already in spirit. But remember that the Holy Spirit is always within you. Always call on the Holy Spirit to guide you. If you have any doubts in life, if you need extra support, if you need answers, pray to your angels. Ask God for guidance, for help. This is here for you. Open your heart to God. Open your heart to the spiritual journey. And just come in and leap Take that leap of faith, like the fool, and embark on this beautiful, beautiful journey that is here for all of you. Resurrect out of any darkness you've been experiencing. Resurrect out of this world's chaos that doesn't serve you. Resurrect out of your old life, out of your old self, and metamorphosize into this new, beautiful life and self that is awaiting you. Your dream future, your future self is here. Your future self is calling you to wake up, get on it, show up, just do it, and fuel your fire. Fuel your fire towards your passions, towards what your heart wants to do, the legacy that you want to leave behind on this life, in this planet, and what you want to be remembered for. This is your life to choose. Collaborate with God to help you. What is your life purpose? What you're meant to do on this planet. And God will help you achieve that. So that is how we're going to end. Thank you all for joining me. And I'll see you all for the next one. Namaste.